Imagine closing your eyes and drifting back through time. Let the stress of today melt away as we journey together into one of Earth's greatest mysteries. Tonight, we're going to uncover secrets that have been hidden for millions of years. Secrets about creatures so intelligent, so advanced, that if the truth came out, it would change everything we thought we knew about life on Earth. Get comfortable, breathe deeply, and prepare to discover the hidden intelligence of dinosaurs. A story so incredible, it sounds like science fiction. But every word is based on real evidence that scientists are only now beginning to understand. Chapter 1. The secret that changed everything. On a cold morning in Montana, paleontologist Dr. Sarah Chen made a discovery that would shake the scientific world. But this wasn't just another dinosaur bone. Hidden inside a 75-million-year-old skull, she found something that should have been impossible. Something that would force us to question everything we thought we knew about the ancient world. The skull belonged to Troodon, a small dinosaur about the size of a person. But when Dr. Chen carefully measured the brain cavity, her hands began to shake. The numbers didn't make sense. This creature's brain was huge compared to its body. Not just big for a dinosaur, big enough to rival some of the smartest animals alive today. Picture this moment. Dr. Chen staring at her calculations, checking them again and again. Because if she was right, it meant that 75 million years ago, creatures walked the Earth with intelligence we never imagined possible. But here's where the story gets controversial. Why had no one talked about this before? Why do movies still show dinosaurs as mindless monsters? Some scientists believe there's been a deliberate effort to hide the truth about dinosaur intelligence. After all, if we admitted that beings this smart lived long before humans, what would that say about our special place in the world? The evidence Dr. Chen found wasn't unique. All over the world, other researchers have been quietly uncovering similar secrets. Dinosaur brains that were far too large. Bone structures that suggested complex behaviors. Fossil sites that hinted at social structures more advanced than anything we see in animals today. But every time someone tries to publish this research, they face resistance of something even more shocking. Signs that some dinosaurs might have been more intelligent than dolphins, more clever than chimpanzees, perhaps even approaching human-level thinking in ways we're only starting to understand. But the most incredible part, the evidence suggests that if a massive asteroid hadn't crashed into Earth 66 million years ago, these intelligent dinosaurs might have continued evolving. They might have built civilizations. They might have developed technology. They might have reached the stars long before humans ever existed. Are you beginning to see why this story has been kept quiet? Why textbooks still describe dinosaurs as simple, brutish creatures? The truth is too disturbing for some people to accept. But tonight, we're going to explore every shocking detail. If you're finding this as fascinating as I am, hit that like button now. This story gets much more incredible, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Because what Dr. Chen found in Montana was nothing compared to what other scientists have discovered in the shadows. Chapter 2. The Great Deception. For over 150 years, we've been told a lie so big, so carefully constructed, that it shaped how entire generations viewed the ancient world. The lie goes like this: dinosaurs were stupid, slow, and evolutionary failures. They were nothing more than oversized lizards that stumbled around for millions of years before finally going extinct because they couldn't adapt. But what if I told you this entire narrative was created deliberately? What if powerful people had reasons to make sure we never learned the truth about dinosaur intelligence? Let's go back to the 1800s, when the first dinosaur fossils were being discovered. Picture Victorian England, where scientists like Richard Owen were trying to make sense of these incredible bones. Owen was the one who first used the word dinosaur, which means terrible lizard. But here's what's suspicious. Owen had access to evidence that these creatures were far from simple lizards. Owen examined skulls with large brain cavities. He found leg bones built for speed, not slow crawling. He discovered fossils arranged in ways that suggested complex social behaviors. Yet when he presented his portrayed them as mindless killers, driven only by hunger. But behind the scenes, a few brave scientists were collecting evidence that told a very different story. They found dinosaur trackways that showed coordinated group movement. They discovered nesting sites with evidence of complex parental care. They uncovered fossils that suggested some dinosaurs used tools. Yet every time these scientists tried to share their findings, they faced enormous resistance. Their research was ridiculed, their careers were threatened. Some were forced to publish their work in obscure journals that almost no one would ever read. Dr. Robert Bakker was one of these rebels. In the 1970s, he began arguing that dinosaurs were warm-blooded, active, and intelligent. His ideas were so controversial that other scientists called him crazy. Academic conferences refused to let him speak, but Bakker kept collecting evidence, and slowly, very slowly, the truth began to emerge. Here's what makes this conspiracy even more disturbing. The evidence for dinosaur intelligence isn't new. It's been hiding in plain sight for decades. Paleontologists have found dinosaur skulls with brain structures remarkably similar to modern birds. And birds are among the smartest animals on Earth. They've discovered fossils showing that some dinosaurs had forward-facing eyes for depth perception, opposable thumbs for grasping objects, and inner ear structures for excellent balance. These are all signs of creatures capable of complex behaviors and problem-solving. So why keep this secret? Why continue teaching children that dinosaurs were stupid when the evidence clearly shows otherwise? Some researchers believe it's because admitting dinosaur intelligence would force us to completely rethink human evolution, religious beliefs, and our entire understanding of intelligence itself. If you're starting to question everything you've been taught about dinosaurs, good. That means you're thinking critically. And if this revelation is shocking you, please share this video with your friends and family. They deserve to know the truth too. The deception runs even deeper than you might imagine. Coming up next, we'll explore the specific evidence that's been hidden from the public. Communication signals and problem-solving techniques passed down from their elders. The fossil evidence shows young dinosaurs arranged in specific patterns around adult skeletons, suggesting organized teaching and learning. Dr. Maria Rodriguez spent 5 years studying this site before she dared publish her findings. What she discovered challenges everything we think we know about animal intelligence. The young Triceratops fossils show evidence of modified brain development. Their skulls grew larger in specific areas associated with memory and learning. But here's where it gets really controversial. Dr. Rodriguez found scratches on nearby rocks that appear to be deliberately made. Not random marks from feeding or fighting, but organized patterns that look almost like writing. Imagine the implications. If dinosaurs were capable of symbolic communication, creating marks that conveyed meaning to others, then they possessed a level of intelligence we associate only with humans. They could think abstractly, plan for the future, and share complex ideas. The scientific establishment attacked Dr. Rodriguez's work immediately. They claimed the scratches were natural erosion. They said the skull modifications were just individual variations. They refused to fund further research at the site. But Dr. Rodriguez wasn't alone. In Montana, Another researcher found similar evidence. Dr. James Wright discovered what appears to be a dinosaur burial ground. Not just bones scattered by chance, but carefully arranged skeletons that suggest ritualistic behavior. Picture this scene. A group of Maiasaura standing around their fallen companion. But instead of simply leaving the body to decay, they carefully position it in a specific way. They arrange stones around it in patterns. They stay with it for days, perhaps saying goodbye in their own way. This kind of behavior requires emotional intelligence, symbolic thinking, and social cooperation at levels we previously thought impossible for dinosaurs. Yet the evidence keeps appearing at dig sites around the world. In China, paleontologists found fossilized dinosaur eggs arranged in perfect geometric patterns, far too precise to be accidental. The patterns suggest mathematical understanding and planning abilities that rival those of modern animals. In Argentina, researchers from sites where different dinosaur species appear to have worked together. Imagine herbivores and carnivores coordinating their activities, sharing resources, even protecting each other's young. This level of interspecies cooperation suggests intelligence far beyond anything we see in nature today. Dr. Rodriguez continues her work despite the criticism. She's found evidence of tool use, advanced nest construction, and what might be the remains of primitive dinosaur art. Each discovery is met with skepticism from mainstream science, but the evidence continues to mount. Are you starting to see the pattern? Every time someone finds evidence of dinosaur intelligence, they face resistance. Every time the truth starts to emerge, it gets buried again. But the stones don't lie. The fossils tell a story that some people desperately don't want us to hear. If this evidence is as compelling to you as it is to me, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Because we're just getting started. The next chapter reveals specific dinosaur species whose intelligence might have rivaled that of dolphins and chimpanzees. Chapter 4. The raptor's hidden mind. In the darkness of a Cretaceous night, something extraordinary was happening. A pack of velociraptors moved through the forest with purpose and coordination that would make modern military strategists proud. But these weren't just animals following instinct. They were thinking, planning, and communicating in ways that scientists are only now beginning to understand. Dr. Amanda Foster has spent her career studying raptor fossils, and what she's discovered will change how you think about intelligence forever. Hidden in the bone structure of these incredible predators are clues to mental abilities that shame most animals alive today. Let's start with their eyes. Velociraptor eyes were positioned forward on their skull, giving them binocular vision, just like humans. This means they could judge distances perfectly, track multiple moving objects, and see in 3 dimensions with incredible precision. But more importantly, the brain areas that processed this visual information were enormous. Dr. Foster found that the visual processing centers in raptor brains were proportionally larger than those in eagles, birds famous for their incredible eyesight. This suggests raptors could see details and patterns that would be invisible to us. They could track the claws weren't just weapons, they were precision instruments. The bone structure shows they could control each claw independently, using them like fingers to manipulate objects. Imagine a creature that could run 40 miles per hour, leap 15 feet vertically, and still have the dexterity to carefully handle delicate items. Dr. Foster believes raptors used their claws as tools. She's found scratch marks on bones that suggest they used rocks to crack open tough shells. She's discovered evidence they may have fashioned simple implements from sticks and stones. If true, this means raptors were using tools millions of years before the first human ancestor ever existed. The social intelligence of raptors is even more astounding. Fossil sites show they lived in complex family groups with distinct hierarchies. But unlike simple pack animals, raptors appear to have had individual relationships with specific pack members. They formed alliances, shared resources selectively, and even seemed to hold grudges. One fossil site in Mongolia tells an incredible story. Multiple raptor skeletons were found surrounding a single large herbivore. But the positioning isn't random. It shows a coordinated attack strategy that required precise timing and communication. Some raptors attacked from the front to distract the prey, while others circled behind for the killing blow. This level of tactical thinking requires what scientists call theory of mind, the ability to understand what another creature is thinking and predict their actions. It's a form of intelligence that develops late in human children and is rare in the animal kingdom, but the most controversial evidence comes from sites where raptors appear to have cared for injured pack members. Fossils show raptors with healed bone fractures that would have left them unable to hunt for months. Yet they survived, suggesting their pack mates brought them food and protected them during recovery. This kind of compassionate behavior requires emotional intelligence, empathy, and the ability to make sacrifices for others. It suggests raptors had rich emotional lives and complex social bonds that went far beyond simple survival instincts. Dr. Foster's most shocking discovery came in 2019. She found raptor fossils arranged around what appears to be a nest, containing not raptor eggs, but the eggs of another dinosaur species. Tactical thinking and social cooperation may have been superior to early human ancestors. If the asteroid hadn't ended their story, who knows how much more intelligent they might have become. This raises uncomfortable questions about our assumptions of human superiority. Were we really the first intelligent species on Earth? Or were we just the first to survive long enough to tell our story? If you're as amazed by raptor intelligence as I am, please take a moment to like this video. The evidence gets even more incredible from here, and you won't believe what we've discovered about dinosaur communication. Chapter 5. Voices from the Past. Close your eyes and imagine the sounds of the Cretaceous period. Not the roars you've heard in movies, but something far more incredible. Complex conversations happening in languages we're only now learning to decode. Scientists have discovered that dinosaurs didn't just make noise. They communicated with sophistication that rivals modern whales and dolphins. Dr. Elizabeth Hartwell was studying the fossilized skull of a Parasaurolophus when she made a discovery that would revolutionize our understanding of dinosaur communication. Inside the dinosaur's hollow crest, she found structures that could only serve one purpose: creating and modulating complex sounds. Using advanced computer modeling, Dr. Hartwell was able to reconstruct the exact sounds this dinosaur could make. What she heard sent chills down her spine. Not simple honks or roars, but intricate melodies with multiple tones, harmonics, and what sounded almost like musical phrases. Picture a herd of Parasaurolophus moving across an ancient landscape. But instead of silent giants, imagine them singing to each other in hauntingly beautiful harmonies. Different individuals taking turns in the melody, responding to each other's calls, creating symphonies that echoed across valleys and forests. The complexity of these calls suggests far more than basic communication. Dr. Hartwell found evidence that different tones conveyed different meanings. Warnings about predators, announcements of food sources, and even what appeared to be individual identification calls. Each dinosaur had its own unique voice signature. Advanced animals today. The evidence goes even deeper. Different Parasaurolophus species had different crest shapes, and computer models show they produce distinctly different sound ranges. Dr. Hartwell believes each species had its own dialect, variations in their communication system that marked them as belonging to specific groups. But here's where it gets truly mind-blowing. Dr. Hartwell found fossil evidence suggesting some dinosaur species could understand and respond to the calls of other species. Different types of hadrosaurs appear to have coordinated their movements based on warning calls from completely different dinosaur families. Imagine the intelligence required for this level of interspecies communication. Not only did these dinosaurs master their own complex language, but they learned to interpret the languages of other species. They were essentially multilingual beings capable of cross-cultural communication in ways that surpass most modern animals. Dr. Hartwell's research faced immediate skepticism from the scientific establishment. Critics claimed her computer models were inaccurate, that she was reading too much into fossil evidence. But when independent researchers replicated her work, they got the same results. Dinosaurs were far more vocal and communicative than anyone had imagined. The implications extend beyond just sound. If dinosaurs had complex vocal communication, they likely had the brain structures necessary for abstract thinking, memory formation, and cultural learning. These are the foundations of higher intelligence. Recent discoveries in China have revealed even more evidence of dinosaur communication. Fossilized skin impressions show that some dinosaurs had colorful patterns that could change based on their emotional state, like natural mood rings that broadcast their feelings to others. Dr. Kevin Chen, who studies these color-changing fossils, believes some dinosaurs used visual communication as sophisticated as their vocal abilities. They could display complex messages through combinations of colors, patterns, and body postures. Imagine conversations conducted not just through sound, but through spectacular light shows of changing colors and patterns. One fossil site contains evidence of what appears to be a dinosaur debate. Multiple individuals gathered in a circle, with fossil evidence suggesting they took turns displaying different color patterns while haven't fully understood. Perhaps they used infrasonic calls that could travel for hundreds of miles, like modern elephants and whales. Or maybe they had visual signaling systems that could relay messages across great distances. If you're starting to realize that dinosaurs were far more sophisticated than you ever imagined, you're not alone. The evidence for their communication abilities is overwhelming, but it raises disturbing questions about what else we don't know about these incredible creatures. Comment below and let me know. Do you think dinosaurs might have been more intelligent than many modern animals? Because what's coming next will challenge everything you thought you knew about intelligence itself. Chapter 6. The Genius That Almost Was. In a small laboratory in Colorado, Dr. Michael Barnes holds a fossil that could rewrite history. It's the skull of Troodon, a dinosaur that lived 75 million years ago. But this isn't just any fossil. It's evidence of a mind so advanced that if evolution had continued on its original path, Earth might today be ruled by beings far more intelligent than humans. Let me tell you about Troodon in a way that will change how you see intelligence forever. This dinosaur was about the size of a person, with long legs built for speed and arms equipped with grasping hands. But the most remarkable thing about Troodon was hidden inside its skull. A brain proportionally larger than that of most modern mammals. Dr. Barnes has spent years analyzing Troodon brain cases, and his findings are almost too incredible to believe. Using advanced CT scanning, he's mapped the internal structure of their brains in detail. What he found suggests Troodon possessed cognitive abilities that approach human levels in specific areas. The visual processing centers in Troodon brains were enormous, larger in proportion than those of eagles or hawks. Their eyes were huge and forward-facing, giving them stereoscopic vision with incredible depth perception. But more importantly, they had a special layer of cells behind their retinas that would have given them exceptional night vision. Troodon could see clearly in almost complete darkness. Imagine the advantage this gave them. While other dinosaurs slept, Troodon could hunt, explore, and interact with their world. They were essentially living in a 24-hour about thinking. They could plan ahead consider multiple possibilities, and make decisions based on abstract reasoning rather than just instinct. This is a level of intelligence that appears very rarely in the animal kingdom. The evidence for Troodon intelligence goes beyond just brain size. Their hands were remarkably dexterous, with partially opposable thumbs that allowed precise manipulation of objects. Dr. Barnes has found scratch marks on fossils that suggest Troodon used tools, not just picking up random objects, but fashioning specific implements for particular tasks. One fossil site tells an incredible story. Dr. Barnes found Troodon fossils surrounded by carefully arranged stones, sticks, and shells. The arrangement is too precise to be accidental. It appears to be a primitive workshop where these dinosaurs crafted and stored tools for future use. The social intelligence of Troodon was equally impressive. They appear to have lived in small family groups with complex hierarchies, based not just on size or strength, but on intelligence and problem-solving ability. Fossil evidence suggests they had individual relationships and long-term partnerships that lasted for years. But here's the most mind-blowing part of Dr. Barnes's research. He's found evidence that Troodon was teaching behaviors to their offspring, not just showing them how to hunt or avoid danger, but passing on learned skills and knowledge. This cultural transmission of information is one of the hallmarks of advanced intelligence. Dr. Barnes discovered fossil sites where adult and juvenile Troodon fossils are arranged in teaching positions, adults demonstrating specific behaviors while young ones observe. One site shows what appears to be a Troodon parent teaching its offspring how to use a stick as a tool to extract insects from logs. The implications are staggering. If Troodon were teaching learned behaviors to their children, they had developed a primitive form of culture. Knowledge and skills could accumulate across generations, leading to increasingly sophisticated technologies and behaviors. In 1982, paleontologist Dale Russell created a controversial thought experiment. He imagined what Troodon might have evolved into if the asteroid impact hadn't occurred. His Dinosauroid was a highly intelligent humanoid creature with advanced cognitive abilities, while Russell's specific about intelligence, evolution, and our place in the natural world. Were humans just lucky survivors? Or were we truly destined to become the dominant, intelligent species? The evidence suggests luck played a much larger role than we like to admit. Some scientists argue that Troodon intelligence was following a completely different evolutionary path than human intelligence. Rather than developing technology and civilization, they might have become master manipulators of biological systems, perhaps even controlling the evolution of other species through selective breeding and environmental engineering. If these possibilities fascinate you as much as they fascinate me, please share this video with someone who would find it as mind-blowing as you do. Because the story gets even more incredible when we explore what dinosaur civilizations might have looked like. Chapter 7. Cities that never were. Picture this. Instead of concrete jungles and steel skyscrapers, imagine cities built from living coral and carved bone. Instead of automobiles, imagine domesticated flying reptiles carrying passengers through the sky. This isn't fantasy. It's what Earth might have looked like if intelligent dinosaurs had continued evolving and building civilizations. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, an expert in speculative paleobiology, has spent years trying to understand what dinosaur civilizations might have been like. Using everything we know about dinosaur intelligence, behavior, and physical capabilities, she's constructed detailed models of how they might have organized their societies. The first thing to understand is that dinosaur civilizations would have been completely unlike human societies. While we built tools to overcome our physical limitations, dinosaurs already had incredible natural abilities. They didn't need to invent flight. Some of them could already fly. They didn't need to develop weapons. They were living weapons. Dr. Mitchell believes dinosaur cities would have been integrated into natural ecosystems rather than replacing them. Instead of clearing forests to build settlements, intelligent dinosaurs might have cultivated and shaped existing ecosystems to serve their needs. Imagine cities that were also thriving forests, with buildings grown from living trees and transportation systems based on natural pathways. The architecture would have been breathtaking. Using their natural strength and engineering instincts, dinosaurs might have created structures that specific purposes. Picture vast herds of modified herbivores serving as living food sources, carefully bred for docility and nutritional value. Imagine flying reptiles engineered for transportation, their wings and bodies optimized for carrying passengers across continents. Some dinosaurs might have been bred as living computers, their brains enhanced to process and store vast amounts of information. Dr. Mitchell believes dinosaur technology would have been primarily biological rather than mechanical. Instead of building machines, they would have created living organisms designed to perform specific functions. Their cities might have been populated by creatures that served as living tools, transportation, communication systems, and even entertainment. The social structures of dinosaur civilizations would have been incredibly complex. Dr. Mitchell's models suggest they would have developed hierarchies based on intelligence, problem-solving ability, and breeding success, rather than just physical dominance. The smartest dinosaurs would have been the leaders, guiding their societies through careful planning and strategic thinking. Communication systems would have been far more sophisticated than anything humans have developed, combining their natural vocal abilities with visual displays and perhaps even electromagnetic signals. Dinosaurs might have been able to share complex information instantly across vast distances. Dr. Mitchell has identified several key innovations that dinosaur civilizations would likely have developed. Biological architecture, using modified coral and bone structures. Living transportation systems based on bred-flying reptiles. Organic computers, using enhanced neural networks. And perhaps most remarkably, ecosystem engineering on a planetary scale. Imagine dinosaurs who could control weather patterns by managing atmospheric organisms. Picture them directing the evolution of plant life to create continent-spanning food forests. Visualize them managing ocean ecosystems to maximize the production of resources they needed. The artistic achievements of dinosaur civilizations would have been spectacular, beyond imagination. Using their natural ability to create complex sounds and visual displays, they might have developed art forms that engaged all the senses simultaneously. Imagine symphonies that combined music, light shows, scent releases, and technology would have been self-repairing and adaptive. Their integration with natural ecosystems would have made them sustainable for millions of years. The philosophical implications are staggering. Human civilization is based on the idea that intelligence naturally leads to technology, art, and culture as we understand them. But dinosaur civilizations would have followed completely different paths, developing forms of culture and achievement that we might not even recognize as civilized. This raises profound questions about intelligence and progress. Are we really following the only possible path for intelligent life? Or are we just one unusual branch on a tree of possibilities? What other forms might intelligence and civilization take on other worlds? The tragedy is that we'll never know for certain what dinosaur civilizations might have achieved. The asteroid impact that ended their reign cut short one of the most promising experiments in intelligence that Earth has ever seen. Instead of sharing the planet with beings who might have taught us incredible things about biology, intelligence, and sustainable living, we're left only with fossils and speculation. If you're amazed by these possibilities, hit that subscribe button, because we're about to explore the most mind-bending aspect of this entire story. Evidence that some dinosaur achievements might have survived to the present day. Chapter 8. The Final Mystery. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, Indigenous people tell stories that mainstream science has dismissed for centuries. Stories of ancient cities built by beings that came before humans. Stories of creatures with incredible intelligence that still live in the deepest parts of the jungle. What if these aren't just myths? What if they're memories of encounters with dinosaur descendants that survived the Great Extinction? Dr. Helena Rodriguez, an anthropologist who has spent decades studying indigenous oral histories, believes these stories might contain kernels of truth about dinosaur intelligence that survived into the modern era. Her research has uncovered tantalizing evidence that the extinction 66 million years ago might not have been as complete as we've been told. The first clue came from studying ancient artwork in caves throughout South America. These paintings, created by indigenous peoples thousands of years ago, show creatures that look remarkably like dinosaurs. But these aren't the crude representations you might expect from people who had never seen such survived the mass extinction and coexisted with early human civilizations. The oral histories Dr. Rodriguez has collected are even more intriguing. Multiple indigenous groups across South America, with no contact between them, tell similar stories of ancient sky people who had incredible knowledge of astronomy, medicine, and engineering. These beings are described as having features that match what we now know about intelligent dinosaurs like Troodon. According to these stories, the sky people taught humans many of the skills that allowed civilization to develop. They showed humans how to cultivate crops, how to build lasting structures, and how to track celestial movements for navigation and calendar keeping. If true, this would mean that human civilization owes its existence to knowledge passed down from surviving intelligent dinosaurs. The most intriguing evidence comes from sites in the Amazon that appear to be much older than any known human settlements. Dr. Rodriguez has found structures built with engineering techniques that seem beyond the capabilities of early human societies. The precision of the stonework, the mathematical relationships in the layouts, and the astronomical alignments all suggest builders with advanced knowledge. But the mainstream archaeological community has rejected Dr. Rodriguez's findings. They claim the cave paintings are misinterpretations of known animals. They argue that the oral histories are just mythology with no basis in fact. They insist that the ancient structures are simply well-preserved human settlements. Why the resistance? Dr. Rodriguez believes it's because accepting her evidence would require completely rewriting human history. If intelligent dinosaurs survived and influenced early human development, then many of our assumptions about human achievement and cultural evolution would be wrong. The cover-up goes deeper than academic skepticism. Dr. Rodriguez has found evidence that certain government agencies have actively suppressed information about possible dinosaur survivors. Satellite images of remote areas have been classified. Expeditions to investigate unusual sites have been mysteriously cancelled. Researchers who get too close to the truth have found their funding cut and their careers threatened. But the most compelling evidence comes from modern eyewitness accounts. Deep in the Amazon, Congo Basin, and other remote wilderness areas, people report encounters with creatures that match descriptions of intelligent dinosaurs. These aren't casual intelligence and possibly previous contact with people. Similar reports have come from the Amazon, where local guides describe encounters with creatures they call forest teachers, beings that demonstrate knowledge of medicinal plants and natural phenomena. These creatures are said to communicate through complex vocalizations and visual displays, much like the communication systems Dr. Hartwell discovered in fossil dinosaurs. The implications are staggering. If even a small population of intelligent dinosaurs survived the mass extinction, they would have had 66 million years to continue evolving. Their intelligence might now far exceed anything we can imagine. They might be watching human civilization develop while remaining hidden in the world's most remote places. Dr. Rodriguez believes these survivor populations are deliberately avoiding contact with mainstream human society. Having witnessed the destruction that followed the asteroid impact and observing human behavior over the millennia, they might have decided that remaining hidden is the wisest course of action. But she also thinks they've been subtly influencing human development all along. Many of the great leaps in human knowledge and technology might have been guided by information passed down from these hidden dinosaur civilizations. Our understanding of astronomy, medicine, engineering, and even agriculture might owe more to dinosaur intelligence than we realize. The most disturbing possibility is that these intelligent dinosaurs are still among us, perhaps in plain sight. With millions of years to develop biotechnology and biological camouflage, they might be able to take any form they choose. Some researchers speculate that certain unexplained phenomena in human society might actually be the work of hidden dinosaur intelligence. This brings us to the ultimate question. If intelligent dinosaurs still exist, what do they want? Are they benevolent teachers guiding human development? Or are they something else entirely? The answer might determine the future of both our species. If this possibility doesn't give you chills, I don't know what will. Please like this video and share it with others who need to know this incredible story. Because the final chapter reveals evidence that will change how you see the world forever. Chapter 9. What they don't want you to know. As we reach the end of our incredible journey through the hidden history of dinosaur intelligence, one question remains. Why has this information been kept from the public for so long? The answer is more disturbing. Darkness as you drift towards sleep. You'll finally learn what they don't want you to know. Let's start with religion. Most major faiths teach that humans are uniquely created in God's image, blessed with souls and intelligence that separate us from all other creatures. If dinosaurs possessed human-level intelligence millions of years before our species existed, this doctrine becomes difficult to defend. Were dinosaurs also created in God's image? Did they have souls? These questions threaten theological foundations that billions of people rely on for meaning and purpose. The academic establishment has its own reasons for suppressing dinosaur intelligence research. Universities built their reputations on specific theories about evolution, intelligence, and human development. Admitting that dinosaurs were highly intelligent would require rewriting textbooks, revising theories, and acknowledging that some of the greatest minds in paleontology were wrong for over a century. More importantly, it would raise questions about what else might be wrong in our understanding of natural history. If scientists could be so fundamentally mistaken about dinosaur intelligence, what other errors might be hiding in plain sight? The entire authority of academic science could be called into question. Government agencies have perhaps the most disturbing reasons for keeping this information secret. If intelligent dinosaurs still exist in remote areas of the world, they represent both an incredible opportunity and a potential threat. Their advanced biological technologies could revolutionize medicine, agriculture, and environmental management. But they could also make human military technology obsolete overnight. Imagine the panic that would ensue if the public learned that beings with millions of years of evolutionary advantage were living among us. Stock markets would crash. Religious institutions would face crisis. People would demand answers that governments aren't prepared to give. But the cover-up goes even deeper. Some researchers believe that certain government agencies have already made contact with surviving dinosaur populations. Secret facilities might be studying dinosaur biotechnology, trying to reverse engineer their biological innovations for human use. The implications for medicine, agriculture, and even space exploration could be revolutionary. Dr. Patricia Wells, a former government researcher who now works independently, believes she's found evidence of community altogether. The message is clear. Some truths are too dangerous to reveal, but the cover-up is beginning to crack. Too many independent researchers are finding similar evidence. Too many indigenous peoples are sharing their stories. Too many ancient sites are revealing information that doesn't fit the official narrative. The truth about dinosaur intelligence is starting to emerge, despite the efforts to suppress it. Social media and independent research networks are making it harder to control information. Scientists can now share their findings directly with the public, bypassing traditional academic channels. Indigenous voices that were once ignored are finding global audiences. The age of information control is ending. This is why this video exists. This is why researchers like Dr. Chen, Dr. Rodriguez, Dr. Barnes, and so many others continue their work despite opposition. They believe the public has a right to know the truth about our planet's history and the incredible creatures that once ruled it. The evidence for dinosaur intelligence is overwhelming. From fossil brain structures to behavioral patterns, from communication systems to possible tool use, the picture is clear. Dinosaurs were far more intelligent than we've been told. Some may have been approaching human-level cognition when the asteroid impact ended their reign. More controversially, evidence suggests that some highly intelligent dinosaurs might have survived the extinction and continued evolving in hidden locations around the world. If true, Earth might be home to two intelligent species, humans and our secretive dinosaur cousins. What does this mean for you? It means that everything you've been taught about intelligence, evolution, and human uniqueness might be incomplete or incorrect. It means that the natural world is far more complex and wonderful than mainstream science admits. It means that we might not be alone on this planet after all. As you drift off to sleep tonight, let your mind wander through the possibilities we've explored together. Imagine the sounds of Parasaurolophus singing across ancient valleys. Picture the complex social lives of raptor packs. Wonder about the civilizations that Troodon might have built if given more time. And remember that truth has a way of emerging, no matter how hard powerful forces try to suppress it. The evidence for dinosaur intelligence is mounting every year. More researchers are asking hard questions with everyone you know. The truth about dinosaur intelligence needs to spread, and it starts with people like you, who are brave enough to question what they've been told and seek the truth for themselves. Until next time, keep looking up at the stars and wondering what other incredible secrets our universe might be hiding. Good night, and sleep well, knowing that intelligence takes many forms, and Earth has been home to wonders beyond our wildest dreams.